The US has sanctioned a senior Tanzanian police official over allegations linked to the torture and sexual assault of East African rights activists Boniface Mwangi and Agatha Atuhaire last year. In a statement, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the State Department had designated Faustine Jackson Mafuele based on credible information that he was involved in gross violations of human rights.
Alberta will hold a referendum on whether the province should remain in Canada or move ahead with a second binding vote on separation, marking the first significant test of the country's unity in decades. Thursday's announcement by Premier Danielle Smith comes after a petition calling for separation gathered more than 300,000 signatures early this year, and a separate petition advocating for Alberta to stay gathered more than 400,000 hugs.
Kyle Busch, a two-time Cup Series champion who won more races than anyone across NASCAR's 3 national series, has died. He was 41. The Busch family, Richard Childress Racing, and NASCAR issued a joint statement on Thursday saying Busch died after being hospitalized. No cause of death was given.
Gael Monfils brought the party to Roland Garros on Thursday, teaming up with his wife Elina Svitolina to win a lively, star-studded exhibition match. As he prepared for his final appearance at his home Grand Slam, the popular Frenchman took centre stage on Court Philippe Chatrier for Gael and friends, an evening that blended tennis, music and tributes to celebrate his 2-decade journey on the professional tour.
Finnish phone maker HMD today launched its first smartphone called the Vibe 2 5G, which comes preloaded with Indian AI company Sarvam's chatbot Indus. Both companies had first announced the partnership during the India AI Summit held in New Delhi in February. The Indus app is powered by Sarvam's locally trained 105 billion parameter model, a measure of the AI's scale and sophistication, and launched at the AI Summit. The app supports 22 Indic languages and mid-sentence code switching, the ability to fluidly mix languages mid-conversation, like switching between Hindi and English, which helps the assistant better understand the context of a query. Currently, the application doesn't support offline usage, and it doesn't have any integrated feature with the device to invoke the AI assistant through a shortcut.
Honda has introduced a new limited-time financing offer for the Honda HRVE fee in collaboration with Mizan Bank under the Mizan Car Ijara program. The campaign promotes the HRVE fee as Honda's most fuel-efficient hybrid and comes amid rising consumer interest in hybrid vehicles due to increasing fuel prices in Pakistan.
The Karachi administration has decided to launch a dedicated mobile application to centralise fire safety data for commercial buildings, shopping centres and major public venues across the city to improve emergency response efforts. The decision was taken during a high-level meeting chaired by Commissioner Syed Hassan Naqvi, which reviewed progress on the ongoing fire safety audit of commercial buildings in Karachi. Foreign Office spokesperson Tahir Andrabi on Friday officially announced that Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif would be undertaking a visit to China from May 23-26. During his weekly press briefing, he said, "At the invitation of the People's Republic of China, PM Shehbaz Sharif will undertake an official visit to China from May 23 to 26. An anti-terrorism court, ATC, has granted interim bail to actor Munib Ahmed Butt as he was booked in an alleged short-term kidnapping case. The airport police registered the case last month on the complaint of Mutal Khan, who stated that on April 22nd, he left his home for the airport to travel to Lahore.
Islamabad. The Islamabad High Court, IHC, on Friday imposed a permanent ban on the poisoning, shooting and indiscriminate killing of stray dogs in the federal capital, directing authorities to implement a catch, neuter, vaccinate and release program for controlling the population. In a 24-page detailed judgment, Justice Kadim Hussein Sumro disposed of 2 constitutional petitions challenging the alleged non-implementation of the stray dog population control policy for the Islamabad Capital Territory, ICT.
British police investigating Andrew Mountbatten Windsor have renewed their call for people to come forward with information about alleged misconduct relating to the younger brother of King Charles III. Claims they are examining a number of aspects of alleged misconduct, following relating the US Justice Department's of files Jeffrey Epstein, and was speaking to the late sex offender release of Zettain, and was speaking with a number of witnesses.
Josh Hart scored a playoff career-high 26 points. Jalen Brunson had 19 points and 14 assists. And the New York Knicks moved halfway to their first NBA Finals appearance since 1999 by beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 109-93. Mikal Bridges also scored 19 points, and Karl Anthony Towns had 18 points and 13 rebounds to help the Knicks win their 9th straight game on Thursday night.
The Private Educational Institution Regulatory Authority has announced summer vacations for private schools and colleges in Islamabad, with educational institutions set to remain closed from May 25 to July 31. According to a notification issued by the authority, the vacation schedule will apply to all private educational institutions operating within the Islamabad Capital Territory. The Power Division has ordered electricity distribution companies to clear 1,355 pending solar net metering applications within 10 days after taking serious notice of prolonged delays in new connections. According to official directives, the pending applications were submitted before February 8th but remain unprocessed, despite some cases being delayed for more than 6 months.
The State Bank of Pakistan, SBP, announced that it will remain closed for 3 days on the occasion of Eid al-Azha. The State Bank of Pakistan will remain closed from May 26 to May 28, 2025, Tuesday to Thursday, being public holidays on the occasion of Eid al-Adha, the central bank said in a notification on Friday.
The war in the Middle East is squeezing two pillars of Indian employment, forcing Gulf-based workers home and crushing demand for the country's manufactured exports, from leather goods to glassware. For decades, work in the Middle East and global demand for labour-intensive manufacturing in sectors such as footwear and garments gave a generation of Indians stable and, in some cases, lucrative incomes.
Oil prices climbed on Friday but were on track for a weekly loss as investors doubted the prospects of a breakthrough in US-Iran peace talks, so $1.66 or 1.6% to 104.24 a barrel by 4:05 GMT, while US West Texas Intermediate futures were up 1/11 or 1.2 PC at $97.
The Central Development Working Party, CWP, on Thursday approved a revised Rs. $485 billion proposal for the Diama Basha Dam project that includes the cost of helicopter procurement on security grounds, with the project now being referred to the Executive Committee of the National Economic Council, EC, for final consideration. The decision was taken during a meeting of the Central Development Working Party, CDWP, chaired by Federal Minister for Planning and Deputy Chairman Planning Commission Ahsan Iqbal.
Pakistan Cricket Board, PCB, has announced a 16-member squad on Friday for the upcoming 3-match ODI series against Australia, scheduled from May 30 to June 4 in Rawalpindi and Lahore. According to a press release issued by the Cricket Board, Ahmed Danial, Arafat Minhas and Rohail Nazir are the 3 players selected in the squad who are yet to represent Pakistan in ODI cricket. As a deadly Ebola outbreak tears through Northeast Democratic Republic of the Congo, many first responders are turning a critical eye on events that preceded the crisis. Layoffs of health workers funded by the United States, or shortages of critical medical supplies, and a steep reduction in American support for global aid programs. The World Health Organization says more than 100 deaths are thought to be linked to this outbreak, with nearly 600 suspected cases so far, and it's warning that we know the scale of the epidemic in DRC is much larger. It also said this strain of the virus, for which there is no specific vaccine or treatment, could have been circulating for months before it was detected.
top United States military official has said Washington is pausing a $14 billion arms sale to Taiwan to conserve munitions for its war on Iran. Acting Navy Secretary Hung Sao provided the update to lawmakers during a Senate hearing on Thursday, a week after the weapons sale took centre stage in talks between US President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping in Beijing.
There is no human activity from which every form of intellectual participation can be excluded. Each man carries on some form of intellectual activity, that is, he is a philosopher, an artist, a man of taste. He participates in a particular conception of the world, has a conscious line of moral conduct, and therefore contributes to sustain a conception of the world or to modify it. That is, to bring into being new modes of thought. Antonio Gramsci critical minds have never found space to thrive in Pakistan. For most of our history, they have been at best isolated and at worst criminalized. Today, we are again confronted with an all-out attack on intellectual life. Junaid Hafiz, a gifted young university teacher, has been in jail, mostly in solitary confinement, for 17 years. No judge is willing to hear his case, filed after he was accused of blasphemy, no matter the actual evidence. No government since 2009 has had the spine to pardon him, despite the falsehoods invoked to frame him.
Islamabad, floods, heat waves and changing weather patterns have adversely affected wheat production in Pakistan. And the target initially fixed could not be achieved this year. This was stated by Minister for National Food Security and Research Rana Tanvir Hussain while briefing the Senate Standing Committee on National Food Security and Research on Thursday. The meeting of the committee was presided over by Senator Masroor Ahsan.
Karachi. The Sindh Cabinet on Thursday approved off-budget emergency funding to Trans-Karachi, enabling the Frontier Works organisation to accelerate construction on the long-delayed bus rapid transit BRT Red Line project, a 12.85-kilometre stretch for Lot 2, 12 from Numaish Chowrangi to Masamiat, after the previous joint venture contractor was terminated for persistent delays and non-compliance.
Hundreds of Greenlanders gathered outside a new American consulate in the capital Nuuk on Friday to protest against Donald Trump's ambition for greater influence over the island. The protest capped a week in which the US president's special envoy to Greenland, Jeff Landry, made his first trip to the territory, a semi-autonomous part of Denmark.
Elon Musk's SpaceX has postponed a launch of its massive Starship rocket and said it plans to make another attempt at the highly anticipated test flight on Friday. It comes just a day after the firm revealed plans for a record-breaking stock market debut, where the successful launch of the powerful new rocket could help entice investors into buying shares.
President Donald Trump has said the US will be sending an additional 5,000 troops to Poland a week after the Pentagon cancelled a planned deployment of 4,000 troops to the country. Writing on Truth Social, Trump said the decision was based on the US's relationship with Polish President Karol Nawrocki, whom he backed during presidential elections last year.
The US has charged Cuba's 94-year-old former president, Raul Castro, with murder, stoking speculation that Havana could be next on Washington's regime change list, amid a maximum pressure campaign that has led to the most significant fuel and energy shortages in Cuba in decades. A steady chorus of US officials is calling for the end of the island's 66-year-old communist government.
Islamabad. The Water and Power Development Authority, WAPDA, on Thursday came under severe criticism at a meeting of the Central Development Working Party, CWP, over poor project management, lack of transparency, weak oversight mechanisms, massive cost overruns and delays in two mega-critical water projects worth over $802 billion, Dima Basha Dam and Tarbela Fifth Extension. The technical team of the Planning Commission and Minister for Planning and Development, Ahsan Iqbal, expressed serious concern over the non-submission of project feasibilities and revised cost estimates for more than 6 years, as well as attempts to hush up inquiries into alleged mismanagement and corruption. They demanded that both inquiry reports be shared without further delay.
The government has decided to issue a commemorative coin to mark the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations with China. In a press release issued on Thursday, the State Bank of Pakistan, SBP, said the 75 coin will be available to the general public from May 25, Monday, through the exchange counters at the field offices of SBP Banking Services Corporation.